for educational purposes only. So I have not made a video, I feel, for a while, just speaking about my circumstances and the situation of what's going on right now. So I just wanted to, I made a list of things and I'm just going to be reading off my laptop, so if I keep looking down, just know why. But the things that are being done to, that are leading and adding to me breaking down before I have this full break down and then go to the hospital. And why I am choosing right now, my father, little catch up, began like showing me different hospitals and being like, oh, your mother and I talked about them. And we've only looked at a couple, but they started doing this stuff right after April 22nd, literally the next day, in preparation for what's going on now, right? That's what they said, but they've been moving on this stuff since I had that little astral experience in December when I saw that person's, and they had on the door, my brother's name. If Ryan is sick, he needs to be removed and hospitalized for up to how many weeks. So I just composed some stuff of just all the things that I'm experiencing, I'm going through, why it's leading to me being in more of a uncomfortable headspace, and how it's just getting me to that place of having a breakdown and just responding in a way where people may say, hey, he needs to be hospitalized. He's a danger to himself or he's a danger to others. So now I'm just going to read the things that I composed. I have no access to my loved ones. My best friend on the East Coast, who I believe is my soulmate, I believe in a hospital. She's come to me on more than one occasion in the astrals. My brother, his channel was compromised, and the times that I have seen him within the past few months, it has not been him. That is just who, which that's been here since 1492, Ghislaine, under a glamour spell. And then my best friend on the West Coast, Kaya, her channel was compromised as well during that phone conversation that we had. I spoke about it in the video called Kaya Edited. So I don't have access to her. I have access to her Instagram, or what I believe is her Instagram, same thing with Facebook, but it is not her, the person that ends up responding. It's not her voice, it's not her. The times that I've FaceTimed with her, it is not her. So I don't have access to those people in my life that I have built these great connections with, that I know truly care about me. I have no access to other Anunnakis or Atlanteans that are remembering who they are on this journey. And this complete isolation has created more justification for this breakdown when it happens. To be like, oh, I completely get why you had a breakdown, whatever person may say that. And why I potentially can't be trusted and I'm deemed a threat to other people, because I am seeing more of reality and the truth, and I'm sharing what I'm experiencing. I'm linking back into nature and trees, and the animals are responding. All of nature is responding. The air, the trees, the wind, the animals. And my mind and my heart, my eyes have just been open to another part of reality that was not opened before, or at least I was not tapping into. So there's that reality that I'm dealing with, but every day there are people around that now have the information and knowledge that I am, connecting back with nature, and I am nature, so it makes sense to keep me separated as much as possible from nature by having all these people steal, transfer, or kill the energy in the space for these trees to become petrified. Like this AM, my consciousness got shot back to my body, got up at around the hour after 5, and there were people just walking up and down the street and the trees are just still and stiff and petrified, you know? And that's because of the magic that is being used. I have no idea how it's essentially being done, but I also have the awareness that it is being done, and I don't have the knowledge, or at least I'm not given permission to access that deep truth and reality within me in order to change that outcome, you know? So it's just dealing with that pain, because obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but it's become, you know, solace. I don't know if that's the right word, but not having access to my loved ones in reality, you know, seeing the trees shake has been comforting. Not every single day, but, you know, certain moments, you know, little bit. And then being aware of this structured blocking of the people walking up and down, of them doing diagonals, you know, across me. If it wasn't next to me, I wouldn't have picked up on it. But they are pulling me into theirs. They are pulling themselves and surrounding themselves in my space in order to cause some type of effect. So because of my awareness of my, like, overall space, I'm just aware, okay, well, they just walked over here. Didn't mean anything, you know, months ago. But then I just started paying more attention to my environment. And if the trees were shaking, and then all of a sudden they become petrified, right? If I'm walking to do something, and so I then second guess myself and change my course of action, and then there's more just stage blocking, making sure that they walk either right in front of me before I end up reaching the destination of where I was about to go, before reaching, let's say, this door that I was walking to have some type of effect on my body. Otherwise, why are you doing it right in front of me or behind me? Again, why are you pulling me into that space energetically, you know? So obviously my spirit body is being involved somehow and having a direct impact on my physical body. So me having that awareness of all of this structured blocking and not being able to do anything about it, seeing the vehicles that come close to me, sometimes it's just a straight line, but usually when it's the vehicles, they'll come and then they'll do a little loop. Like if this was the street, they'll come here, like stop next to me or close enough, and then they'll just loop right back around. And that's one other way that the trees, when the wind has been moving through them, it just stops immediately, which is unnatural. They're computing something on their phones to have an effect on my body and my gifts in that space, and then having an effect on the environment. And then it's just taking more effort, I believe now, than before, simply because I'm now like choosing. I have chose to, you know, when I get up in the AM, say greetings to the Great Mother, and you know, I send you peace, I send you love, and the environment responds, whereas I wasn't doing that before. I say, you know, grand rising to the sun, grand rising to the trees, grand rising to the animals and the sky and the air, etc. So when it comes to it, with all that negative energy being put on nature, and then you communicating to nature in a positive way, nature is going to be gravitated towards your magnetism, which is why I believe now there's more effort, at least on the days that I've been out, to kill that energy. Because I have opened myself up and kept that channel more open to build a deeper connection. And nature responds, you know, the Great Mother responds. Yeah, I just took less in the past, I will say, with my life and experience, to shut it down. Because if I'm just walking, if they're doing this 24/7, right, and I'm just walking on the street and I'm plugging myself into the conversations of BET Awards, the Academy Awards, what happened in PE class, how we all failed, this pop quiz in math, you know, that's my mind and my energy being sent to all of these things that bottom line, it's not nature. So nature is not going to respond, which is why those trees in the past and the air, all the environment, the effect that they wanted to have was stronger, because we weren't unplugging. So now that I have been, in that way, nature just responds. And there's a greater likelihood of nature responding. So I feel it's now gotten to a point with all of that, we're shutting down, the energy and the space to the use of all the magic. What can we do to just keep him inside? And then there being an intrusion of rest and me not being permitted to have any rest, of being run down and worn out. So moving on to the abuse of my powers, when there's cloud coverage, they create cloud coverage and manipulate it through me. Rain, fog, irregular wind movements and patterns to lightning and thunder. I've all felt it right here, even when it's been the lightning and thunder. And my body is picking up on all of these irregular patterns, and I'm feeling fatigued. I'm feeling like I need to faint, weak, dizzy, stomachache, nausea. And I've always gotten headaches as a child with the air pressure changing, but it's drastically shifted because of the drastic shifts that they create with the weather now. It could be sunny like right now, and then within the next hour, cloudy rain and lightning, thunder. That's not natural. And my body is picking up on the abuse to have that desired outcome. So because it's happening so much more rapidly compared to when I was a kid, and with where we are in the energy cycle, Kundalini, my body is just picking up on it, especially my stomach. I just feel ill in that part of my body, and then it just resonates through the rest of my body. The more regular the weather pattern, the quicker the outcome, the more pain I experience. There has been an overuse of the left side of my brain to the point where my left side of the brain has been overheating. What I mean by this is one day when I was in the house with those people that I was living with before I went into hotels, my brain was literally, I thought my phone was overheating because I smelt smoke, but it wasn't my phone. And I looked around and then I realized it was this part of my brain. And I'm gonna say that they were just overdoing it that day for me to not only smell that, but for it to literally be like having that smoking. So I just put water on it, but that has happened, where my body is being abused spiritually and having an effect physically for me to experience and notice that was not happening before. As above, so below, dream world and reality. The world up there is more real than the world down here. This is all the illusion that we are plugged into, and then when we go up into the astrals, we don't have full access to that bit of reality that every other being does, who is not an Atlantean or an Anunnaki, remembering who they are. They're computing codes to block our natural flow of our electricity, and then power restricting our power and manipulating what we naturally have. So I've seen this in the astrals with two different people, on literal computers, wide, huge computers, kind of like the image that's coming to my mind of those machines that like clean the floors. Now just imagine somebody sitting by one of those, and instead of it cleaning a floor, it's a computer designed like that big and wide, and someone putting in all these codes and it having an effect down here. Somebody else I woke up in a space, or came to in the space in the astrals, and I started levitating. Someone just on a literal iPad did something, and I started descending to the ground, not by my choice. I then created lightning. Do. The lightning then disappeared. I was doing the same thing, felt the same feeling in my body, but the result wasn't happening. So this is why I believe we're being keyed into our left brain for whatever the reason. That's how they end up getting the ammunition to then control what we naturally can do and restrict and prevent us from naturally doing it. So, bottom line, we're in a computer, and this is the space in this physical where information can be downloaded. This is why people say, download that information into your consciousness. We get it from the higher realms, such as Ilanthia, but there are countless frequencies being sent to you, to myself, for us not to remember the information that we receive, and then prevent us from having further access to it. And I already spoke about this, deleting memories or planting thoughts in the head. For me, the deleting of memories, it always goes to the left side of my brain. This has happened for the past few months with poems. I come up with lines and I start writing them, and then there's this, and then I can't remember what that line is. And there's been times that the line has eventually come back to me because I've asked the goddesses and the Most High Mother and Father for help, my ancestors, angels, to help me find that line, and other times I lose it. And with the stuff that I posted, that's with a new line that was created, because no matter how hard I tried, that line was taken and deleted and pushed to the back. It was taken from me. So that's happening. The sending of impulses to my body to move like a puppet, I've spoke about that. Them controlling when my brain shuts down for me to go to bed and go to sleep. And then when to be plugged back into this illusion again, when you get up in the AM, that's not all my control, and that's not all your control. It's just that my body is now picking up on it because of all of this structured, organized chaos. And treatment, it's like, if it was maybe just one thing, I wouldn't have picked up on it, but because there's so many different layers going on, yeah, I'm picking up on it. While computing from the astrals down here, they can send frequencies to make the house pop. And as a result, this is being done to make me more jumpy, more paranoid, more anxious and on edge, filled with anxiety. So like this wall right here might pop, or maybe the wall behind me, maybe the refrigerator, whatever. And that's all being done from the astrals. They can control when the AC is on and off. I've gone to bed with it on sometimes, and then it's off in the night, and all of a sudden I'm hearing, when I get shot back to my body, let's say at 2 a.m., right outside the window, loud cars, either motorcycles, maybe a helicopter, other times it's cars honking. And I'm on a street where there isn't traffic for there to be any honking. We're not even at 25 miles, in the little area of the parking lot where this is occurring. Other times, when the car alarms have been going off or the continuous honking, I'll then go and reach for my phone, and all of a sudden, the second that I turn on the camera, everything stops. Where am I going with that? They can see what's happening in real time in the astrals. There's always people up there giving orders to people down here. There's always people up there right now watching what is going on down here, because this is nothing but a simulation. So it just definitely adds to more restlessness. And I've been experiencing me having restlessness with my body being shot back, my consciousness being shot back to my body, and not getting like the best night rest since the fall. But since pretty much 2024 hit, February, after I went on this trip with my father in January, that I've been experiencing being shot back and then hearing some noise. I'm not going to say a car alarm when I was living with my brother, but it was something, I'm going to say like a horn, and then it's just gradually increased. So since February, being pulled out of the astrals, being shot back to my body, and all these sounds going on at that irregular time of the night, and then me not being in control of when my brain shuts down to then get more rest. And it's decreased more and more and more as the months have gone on in order to put me in more of a restless state. And then my body continuing to bounce. I spoke about that with the computer that was built. They can be small to big palpitations. It can just be like let's say you have a little massager going, and other times it's which is incredibly disruptive to my natural flow of electricity and in getting me to be into the left side of my brain. And I feel pain. I feel a piercing pain, like somebody is just drilling right into the left side of my brain. And then I feel shortness of breath. I feel chest pain. It's become more difficult to breathe. Like there's a restriction of my airflow. There's just a mess. Ooh, my bad. At this part of my chest when attempting to have the air come up and down from my diaphragm to put me in more of a relaxed state. It's just become more challenging. That's all I can say. I'm put into a fight or flight. Thoughts planted in the head at the moment can last for an hour or more at night. So let's say I try to go to bed at 10. This will then start happening, and I might hear sounds outside from alarms, motorcycles, whatever, for maybe 20 minutes, could be an hour, could be more. And so then I'm just up in that state, of restlessness. I feel foggy brain, fatigued. They throw me off balance for the thought pattern that had just occurred that I had, that I may lose based off of all of that unnatural disruptions that are happening to me, or they may just delete whatever thought that I had. And then the marijuana smell, I spoke about that earlier. That's been happening since January. The reality that I don't have protection from anyone that is around me, and everyone that has been around me does not want me to shift or reconnect to nature. And as a result, I'm just more aware. Okay, if you're not going to protect me, then I gotta look out for myself, So I'm just more aware of the spaces that I'm in, the people that I'm around, because I know you genuinely do not care for those people. And then just the technology. I don't know if I put down Pleiadian Blackamoor technology. That's like right here in the left side of the brain. That again just adds, it's painful. So all of those things put together. And then with the harassment, I posted that video last night. That's not out of the ordinary, and that has been increasing, whether it's at night or during the day, at some point, to just put me in a state of, I say restlessness, but also reality that you're not protected. So that has just led to not being in the best headspace. And then the times that I try to breathe through it, that computer, whatever it is, gets pressed for my head to start vibrating and shaking. And then I'm really, put in a state of restlessness and fight or flight and irritated or angry. It's just what this does is that it keys me into that part of my fight or flight. Why and exactly how, I do not have the evidence, or I can't say evidence, but I don't have what the terms are, what the technology is and how, which part of my brain it affects to then impact my emotional state. But all of it's gonna eventually be revealed by December at the latest. And then the last bit, I know this is a longer video, but I just wanted to put everything into one. Adding to the left, so if you wanted to stop watching here, you can. But adding into the things that my body has picked up on to put me into my left brain to give them ammunition to manipulate my gifts and or to shut down the energy in this space, and for me to be in a weakened state and to be in pain. So we got, my father just knocked on the door. Spam calls, calls in general to the phone, ads on videos, loud vehicles, the toxins from the cars increase the cloud coverage when they end up coming up, garbage collectors and cloud coverage. The numbers, you already know, the multiples of this, and they seal up memories. That's what I've also realized the times that I try and think of my past. These numbers are included, and I'm getting this pulsating sensation, energy deleted. The computer that was built, coughing, for whatever reason the colors red and orange. The air conditioning here in the hotel. And all these sounds keep us locked in the physical, and now we are transitioning into the spiritual that they all have access to, and this is a part of what they are trying to prevent. Autocorrect as well. 1 second, let me just tell my father to give me 1 second. I'm coming, 1 second! I'm just gonna read off this and then I can make a little rundown later, but autocorrect, I've picked up on that as well. Ask yourself, really pay attention, where do you feel it when you experience an autocorrect in your phone? Do not just limit it to the left or the right side of the brain. I have felt it here, as well as here, when I've not deleted the autocorrect, but I've just like gone down and created a new word that the autocorrect tried correcting, and then when I've deleted it, coming up over here, I don't know what it fully means, but I do know that we're going to be moving through our crown chakra, which is here. This is our crown, and we're going to be moving through our third eye chakra, and all of this is happening in these two areas. So there's some link. I'm just picking up on it and how it makes me currently feel. Yeah. You know, and then how to clear those things, you know. Delete the apps. Clear the apps on the phone, throw it away, hum and sing. Put some water on your head if you start overheating. I watched a video on cell phones, soul phones. Our consciousness is tied to these phones. You know, that's already happened with our souls, our consciousness being tied to these little phones. And everything, the reality that everything is set up in this matrix to shift us into our left brain so that they have access to that energy and they can prevent it, pervert it, and manipulate it to control us. And all that is changing. So housing situation, right? I was in the condo to the house, now I'm in hotels. I had an experience where they informed me, bottom line, my money is going to get taken out of my account. So potentially that happening and then being homeless and then back to a hospital. So that's why, that's just where I am and why it's leading to this breakdown. And when I am outside and alone, you know, getting harassed and watched, and then when I'm not, still just bottom line doing whatever they can to make me miserable. So I'm gonna end this here because my father is here. I said that we're gonna go check out a hospital. I believe I said that. If I didn't, that's what we're doing today. And I can give more of an in-depth explanation on that, but I did just want to make this video as to why, like the breaking down of my spirit, of my mental, in order to lead to this breakdown. Lots of elements going on. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I send peace, courage, protection, and divine cosmic love to every single Anunnaki remembering who they are. Peace and love.